farming village of Cedarwood, deep in rural Kentucky, there lived an old man named Earl Dawson. Earl had spent his entire life working the same land his grandfather had worked before him, a modest farm at the end of a dirt road, surrounded by cornfields and old oak trees that had been standing longer than anyone in Cedarwood could remember. Earl had 3 sons. The oldest was Marcus, 32 years old, broad-shouldered and quiet, the kind of man who fixed things without being asked and never talked about it afterward. The middle son was Nathan, 28, sharp and restless, always reading, always thinking, always slightly dissatisfied with whatever was directly in front of him. And the youngest was Tyler, just 19 years old, still with that particular quality that very young men sometimes have, of being genuinely unaware that anything bad could ever happen to them. The 3 brothers were different in almost every way, but they shared one thing: they had all stayed in Cedarwood their entire lives, working the farm alongside their father, watching the same sunsets over the same cornfields, year after year after year. Earl had watched his boys grow into men, and he was proud of them. But he was also old now, truly old, the kind of old where you feel it in your hands before you get out of bed in the morning, and he worried about what would happen to them after he was gone. Cedarwood was a good place to grow up. It was not, Earl had come to believe, a good place to grow old in without having first gone somewhere else and learned something about the world. One evening in late September, after supper, Earl called his 3 sons to the kitchen table. This was unusual. Important conversations in the Dawson house happened at the kitchen table. Ordinary ones happened wherever they happened. Marcus, Nathan, and Tyler sat down. Earl remained standing, which was also unusual. "I want to talk to you boys about something," Earl said. "And I want you to hear me out before any of you says a word." They waited. "You've been good sons. All 3 of you. Better than I deserved, probably. But I've been watching you for a while now, and I'm going to tell you something your mother would have told you herself if she was still here." He paused. "You need to leave Cedarwood." None of them spoke, as instructed. "Not forever." "I'm not saying forever. I'm saying, go to the city. Louisville, Lexington, wherever. Get jobs. Learn something. See what the world looks like from somewhere that isn't this kitchen." Earl put his hands flat on the table. "I'm not getting younger. And when I'm gone, I don't want you 3 sitting in this house wondering what you missed. You understand me?" Marcus looked at Nathan. Nathan looked at Tyler. Tyler was staring at the table. "Dad," Marcus said finally. "I said hear me out. You're done talking." Earl almost smiled. "I'm done talking." Marcus leaned back in his chair. "Okay. When?" That was Marcus. No argument, no drama. "When?" Nathan said. "I've been thinking the same thing for 2 years. I just didn't know how to bring it up." Tyler said nothing for a long moment. Then he said, "What about you? Who's going to be here with you? I've got the Hendersons next door, and I've got 40 years of knowing how to take care of myself." Earl said, "I'll be fine. You stop worrying about me and start worrying about yourselves for once." They talked for another 2 hours that night. By the end of it, they had a plan. They would leave for Louisville the following Saturday morning, all 3 of them together, and figure out the rest when they got there. The week that followed was full of the particular kind of quiet busyness that precedes a departure. Things being sorted, things being packed, goodbyes being said to neighbors who promised to look in on Earl, a general sense of something ending and something else not yet begun. On Friday evening, the night before they were supposed to leave, the 3 brothers
drove into the center of Cedarwood to have dinner at the diner where they'd eaten their whole lives. It was a goodbye meal, though none of them called it that. The diner was on the main road that ran through Cedarwood, Route 9, a 2-lane highway that carried most of the towns through traffic in which everyone in town had crossed 1,000 times without thinking about it. They ate slowly, talked slowly, let the evening run long the way you do when you know a chapter is closing. Marcus ordered the same thing he always ordered. Nathan talked about Louisville neighborhoods he'd been researching online. Tyler was quieter than usual, in the way 19-year-olds get quiet when something real is about to happen and they're not quite sure they're ready for it. When they finally stepped out of the diner, the night was cool and clear and smelled of the specific combination of diesel and cut grass and coming autumn that was, to all three of them, the smell of home. The parking lot was across Route 9 from the diner, a thing Tyler had done 1,000 times. Step off the curb, cross the road, done. I'll grab the car, Tyler said, and stepped off the curb. Marcus was behind him, still holding the door. Nathan was paying at the register inside. Tyler was in the middle of Route 9 when the truck came. It came from the left, from the direction of the setting sun earlier that evening, though the sun was long down now. It was a delivery truck, a big panel van, doing well over the speed limit on an empty road late on a Friday night. The kind of speed that becomes possible when you convince yourself nothing is coming the other way. The driver never saw Tyler. Tyler never saw the truck. There was a sound. Marcus heard it from the doorway. A sound he would never be able to describe to anyone afterward. Not because he lacked the words exactly, but because some sounds don't have words. They just have the silence they leave behind them. Marcus was across the road before he was conscious.
He had mentioned to help her. She went to the closet. She returned with the garment bag. The woman's eyes lit up in a way that sent ice through Cassie's veins. She snatched the bag and clutched it to her chest. Perfect. Now you go lie down. I'll be right outside watching over your dreams. A low laugh. Don't worry about any bad dreams tonight. I'll be here. After midnight, Cassie began to dream. She stood in a field, completely dark, no stars. Her arms cradled an infant. Across the darkness, that figure from Dorothy's photograph loomed enormous before her, its eyes glowing like two hot coals. It reached out a hand. It took the baby and disappeared into the dark. Cassie screamed herself awake, soaked in sweat, heart slamming. Then the pain hit, sharp, twisting, low in her abdomen. Mabel? Mabel? No answer. Front door unlocked, hallway empty. The woman was gone. Cassie called Janet with shaking hands. Janet was at the door in under 3 minutes. Hospital right now. No, listen to me first. Cassie gripped her arm. She told Janet everything. The photograph from Dorothy, the sour mill, the crying cats, the woman who came at 11 p.m. and took the wedding dress, the nightmare, the pain. Janet's face went through confusion, then recognition, then fury. Dorothy Vance. She exhaled slowly. That photograph is not a guardian, Cassie. It's a curse object, an anchor for dark energy, bound to you and your pregnancy. And that woman tonight was sent by Dorothy. She used your wedding dress to finish the ritual. Janet, my baby, is going to be fine. Janet stood up. Show me the photograph. She crossed the apartment and pulled it off the wall without hesitation. The moment she touched it, Cassie gasped with another sharp wave of pain. Janet didn't stop. She walked to the back door, stepped outside, set the photograph on the concrete, and lit a match. The paper caught fast, burned bright and orange, and Cassie's pain disappeared. Completely. Instantly.
Was sitting at the kitchen table. Not a shape. Not a trick of light. Tyler, sitting at the kitchen table, in the clothes he'd been wearing the night he died, looking at his hands the way he used to look at his hands when he was thinking about something. Marcus stood in the doorway and did not move. Tyler looked up. His expression was not frightening. It was just Tyler's expression, the particular combination of openness and slight uncertainty that had always been the most recognizable thing about him. "Hey," Tyler said. "Hey," Marcus said. "Because what else do you say? I didn't mean to scare you." "You didn't." He had. "You want to tell me what's going on?" Tyler looked at his hands again. "I don't totally know," he said. I didn't get to go. We were supposed to go together. And then I didn't get to go." Marcus came and sat down at the table across from his youngest brother. He sat there for a long time, just sitting, the way you sit with someone who is working something out and doesn't need you to talk, just to be there. "Is it cold?" Marcus asked eventually. "Wherever you are." "No," Tyler said. "It's not cold. It's not much of anything. It's just not finished." "What's not finished?" "I don't know," Tyler said again. "That's the thing. I don't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't get to find out. They sat there until the kitchen began to get light. When Marcus told Nathan the next morning, Nathan was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "I've seen him too. I just didn't say anything." Earl, when they told him, sat down carefully in his kitchen chair and was quiet for a very long time. Then he said, "I know. You've seen him?" "I felt him," Earl said, "every night since. Sitting in this kitchen. I didn't want to say anything because I thought I was going crazy." "You're not going crazy," Nathan said. "I know that now," Earl said. He looked at his two remaining sons across the kitchen table, the same table where he told them to go live there.
Group. The jealous kids teased her. "Look at Kira, teacher's pet. Yes, Ms. Parker. Yes, Ms. Parker." 4 days later, Ms. Parker brought the class to Denver International Airport, got everyone buckled in, and the plane took off. "I've got butterflies in my stomach. I've got mice jumping around in mine. I'm scared. Ma'am, can I get a snack? I'm hungry." The smart kid Kevin had already figured out how to get a snack from the flight attendant, to everyone's jealousy. Suddenly, all the lights began flickering. The kids screamed, "Quiet!" Kira scolded, "You'll all get in trouble." Then the flight attendant walked down the aisle as a witch and lifted one child into the air. "If anyone makes another sound, I'll dangle them like this." "Mommy, there's a witch on the airplane." A girl named Rita kept getting louder. Kira tried to calm Ricky, who was sobbing, by tapping his head, making him cry louder. The witch grabbed all the children and floated them in midair. "One more word, and I drop someone out of this plane, please." Ms. Parker stepped forward. "These are innocent children. They came to see an airplane. Please don't end their journey before it begins. Then keep them quiet." A brave kid pulled a pencil from his bag and jabbed it into the witch's eye. "Ow, who did that?" The witch found Roshan's bag. She slammed him down. He went unconscious. Miss Parker confronted her. "What kind of heartless person are you? Why are you doing this to innocent children?" "I want revenge for what people did to me." "What do children have to do with that?" "Everything. A year ago, I was a flight attendant on this very airline. My dream job. Then I had a baby, stayed home for a while, and when I came back, terrorists hijacked our plane. I single-handedly saved every passenger. I held a gun to their heads and got the plane landed safely. Then one terrorist shoved me and shot me. I bled out on that runway. I begged for help. No one came. And I had just left my baby at home. Home that morning, my tiny baby, alone. I decided, since these people made me suffer for my child, I would make them suffer for theirs." Ms. Parker listened quietly, then said, "You have a mother's heart. Look at these children bleeding. If your baby were here, what would you want someone to do? Just like your child needs you. Every one of these kids needs their parents." The witch stared at the crying children. Something shifted. "You're right. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you for understanding. I think it's time to go." "Wait, witch lady. Before you go, can you show us how the airplane works?" The witch laughed softly. She gave them the most amazing aerial tour they'd ever imagined. All the children cheered. Then she disappeared at peace. 5. The Bathing Witch of Maplewood. Maplewood Village, Tennessee was old-fashioned. No bathrooms, no proper roads, while every neighboring town had modernized. Every morning, the village women bathed in the river. 5 or 6 women were there one day. Where's Vera today? Sleeping, probably. That girl sleeps like the dead. I really don't like bathing out in the open like this. Me neither. But what can we do? A crow flew over and dropped something on Grace's head. Everyone burst out laughing. That's exactly why I hate bathing outside. Meanwhile, 2 town troublemakers, Nate and Dale, were hiding behind bushes, spying. "Look at these women, man. Let's get closer." They moved forward, and the women spotted them. Sarah grabbed a bucket and smashed it over Nate's head. "Shameless. Disgusting. We're reporting you." The women chased them. Dale grabbed Mandy's wrist. "You want to bathe outside? This is what happens. Stop complaining." Nate pulled out a knife toward Grace's throat. Suddenly the sky turned dark. A storm rolled in, and in a whirlwind, a witch arrived, killed both men in an instant, and vanished. The women were confused. Who was this witch? The next day, Mandy told her husband, Mayor Steve. "Those men,